What do you think? What do you think this has to do with the price of gold and silver? Well, probably a lot more than you might be thinking. And I know you're a thinker because the analytics show that the average viewer of a Ron's Basement video is of exceptional high intelligence. So I'm going to tell you what I think this has to do with the price of silver and gold continuing to increase, and I want to hear what you have to say. Let's get started. Silver and gold have held value for thousands and thousands of years. I often like to say, if your great, I'll stop saying great, grandpa to the 20th degree had an ounce of silver, it was worth about what an ounce of silver, and the same is true for gold, is worth today. He could have buried it under a rock and told your relatives for the last 2,000 years where it was, and you could dig it up today and you could go buy a really good meal, just like he could have thousands of years ago. Hey, real quick, I make new content darn near every day about gold, silver, and precious metals mining stocks. Sometimes I even throw in a little toilet paper. As you might imagine, I'm not sponsored by anybody, so you'd really be helping me out if you could give my video a thumbs up, you can subscribe to my channel, or you can share the video. It's like silver and gold are the original cryptocurrencies. And I won't go off on that tangent, but when all these people that are investing in these 19,000 different cryptocurrencies wake up and smell the coffee, they're going to realize silver and gold are the original stores of value, and there will be a flood back into the precious metals. I digress, but I will digress one more time. I recently heard someone say this, and it really struck home to me. Silver and gold are the only form of money that the whole world can agree on. And I was like, wow, you know what? That's true. You know, they may not agree on rubles and dollars and everything else, but for all these years, it's been the one form of money that the whole world can agree on. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. And that brings us to this, toilet paper. Hey, traditionally, the world has kept about 2% of its wealth in precious metals. Do you know what that number is today? It's 0.5%. And many of the experts say that it will revert back to that mean average, 1.5%, 2% of the world's investable capital. And there's a lot more money in the world now. Think about that. 80% of the US dollars have been printed in the last 2 years or whatever the number is. I mean, there's a ton more money. If just a little bit of that money, let's say it goes from 0.5% to 1%, that would be double the amount of capital in the precious metal sector, the mining sector, and that would be explosive for the equities. If it went to 2%, or let's say 3%, if people panicked, or 5%, 5% would be 10 times the amount of money. Now, none of us can predict if or when that will happen. But if the last 5,000 years are any indicator, it's likely that it will. And all that money coming into the sector will be like trying to drain Hoover Dam with a garden hose. And that brings us to this, toilet paper. Think about this as an example. Remember when the pandemic crisis hit? Remember how just a little incremental increase in demand for toilet paper threw the whole toilet paper supply chain into a frenzy? People were paying a huge premium for toilet paper. There was limited supplies of toilet paper. Doesn't that kind of sound like precious metals, right? A flood of money could come into the sector. There's limited supplies of precious metals. Maybe there's a lot more in common between this stuff and precious metals than we realize. Hey, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you being here. You're always welcome in Ron's Basement. If you'd like to subscribe, you can do that right here. I'll look forward to seeing you soon.